Welcome, one and all, to Listening to the Land. If you could just take your seats, settle in. We are going to be having a little sing first thing this morning. We're going to be partaking in something called collaborative vocal improvisation. So I'm going to be improvising, catching the music that's in the ether and giving it voice, and then teaching you a part. Very simple. You don't even have to think about it very much. But it's really all about listening to each other, listening to what we're creating together, and deeply feeling into how that is, how that feels. But before we start that, I'd like us just to start this whole day by dropping into noble silence.
Thank you so much, Charlotte Church, for opening the Listening to the Land Day for us. Well, welcome, everybody. I'm Francesca Price. I'm the director of the Real Farming Trust, and we couldn't be more delighted to welcome you here, one day ahead of the Oxford Real Farming Conference for the Listening to the Land Day. And today is all about remembering our sacred and reciprocal relationship with the land. So thank you for coming. There couldn't be a better city to do this than Oxford. Oxford has a long history of revering its land and waters. You probably know a lot of this, but the river that runs through it is called the Isis, named after the great goddess of fertility and agriculture. St. Fryswide, the patron saint of Oxford, lies, her shrine is down the road in Christchurch, and she used the primordial waters of the city to heal the sick. Oxford is also a place of myth and legend. It was said to be the capital of the Celtic world, and just round the corner is where Geoffrey de Monmouth wrote the histories of Arthur, Merlin, and the Knights of the Round Table. There's also a myth or a legend that says that the universities here were built and emerged from old Druidic schools of learning. So we walk, we sit, we stand on hallowed ground. In fact, Oxford may well have called us in today. So why are we all here? Well, we know that we're living in a great time of great polarities. And it can be difficult to know where to put your energy or even how to feel when you're faced with such complexities, such crises. But I think we'd all agree that there is something happening at the moment. There's a transition in the way that people come into relationship with nature and with the more than human. In this room, we've got farmers. What about a shout out for the farmers? We've got food producers. We've got lawyers. Yeah. We've got business people. We've got people from all walks of life. We've got people from many lands, from around these isles and from further afield. And we're all here because we're curious. We're curious about how we come into connection and how we learn from and are guided by the wisdom and the intelligence of the natural world. So we've got a packed program for you ahead, and you're going to have a lot of choice. We couldn't be more delighted to be bringing this together. Have you all got your jigsaw puzzles pieces? Mm-hmm. Yeah? So in this room, you're going to hear today from incredible speakers and incredible facilitators. But I want you to remember that we are all here to offer something. And at one stage, we had this great idea that we were going to make these jigsaw puzzles up today, and we've given up on that. But perhaps you can take these home as a reminder that you are all a part of that puzzle. We might not know what it looks like yet, but we all have a part to play. And if you're not clear what your part is, maybe it might become clearer today. So in the days and the weeks to come, if you pull this out of your pocket, you'll remember. Okay, so I wanted to just say that we have brought this program together with 8 incredible partners. I won't name them all at this point, but we couldn't have done it without them. There is a lot of choice, and you will have to make those choices today. But wherever you end up, just think there is something there for you. So I'm going to get things underway by handing over to my co-collaborator, Rachel Fleming from Animate Earth.
Brilliant, thank you, Fran. So I am from Animate Earth, and I'm really delighted to have been able to partner with the Real Farming Trust in curating this day, which is even bigger than the one we did last year, and it's so wonderful to see so many of you. So I would like to start. Fran said there are so many different people in the room, and I would love just to have a moment for us all to look around and to see who we're sharing this space with. Just the difference from where we come from in age, in backgrounds. What a fantastic collection of humans we are. And yes, I'm sure a lot of you will know each other. We all seem to be coalescing and connecting together. So I feel that we have all come here today because we are interested in learning more about listening to the land. And I also bet that a lot of us don't really even know what that means, me included. And I'm really hoping that we'll get a better understanding of what that means during the day. But I can guarantee, or at least I can imagine, that all of you in this room will have had an experience where you feel that you have been in direct communication with the natural world. Whether that's perhaps through an encounter with a bird or an animal or a tree. Perhaps it's a feeling of reverence when you step into a beautiful landscape, or perhaps grief when you see one damaged. Perhaps you talk to your plants as you grow, or your animals as you steward the land. And it feels like it is this that's brought us here today, that we have forgotten something. We have forgotten that we are all part of this connected, communicating web of life. And that we all come to that in very different ways. So we'll all have our different ways. And there are so many different ways of seeing that you will see today. So I hope you find kind of inspiration. And perhaps friendships that you can take home with you. But I really feel that the one thing that we do all have in common wherever we are from, whatever we do, is that we all have ancestors. They may be ancestors that are close or ancestors very far back, that knew that as humans we were not separated from the more than human world. We were not separated from nature. There was no separation. So we all have this knowledge in our DNA memory, in our blood memory, in our bodies, and perhaps today will be part of that remembering. It could be just as simple as remembering. So before we begin our very packed schedule, which is super exciting, I would love to introduce you to 3 people of this land who are in conversation, who are listening to the land in different ways, from different traditions of this land. And they will be Carolyn Hillyer, who will begin, followed by Dee Woods, followed by Rupert Sheldrake. Carolyn.
This precious, extraordinary, beautiful earth. Good. How might we find the songs that cause our souls to weep from the wonder and pain of this remembered earth? The songs of the land flow with their own unbound freedom while we run behind them with our arms outstretched, plucking lyrics and melodies out of soft and fierce weather. This ancient, magical, surprising earth. How might we hear the music that causes our feet to dance as we travel the wild, forgotten ways of this remembered earth? Can I invite you to stand, please, if you can? We're going to sing a prayer, a chant, an offering, a blessing, whatever way you would like to describe it. In Proto-Celtic, which is the ancient language of our Bronze Age people, so these words are 4,000 years old. I'll just say the words to start with, and then we'll start to sing them together. Nis Kamawo. We remember, Ura Werito, this deep earth. Nis Kamawo, Ura Werito. And this is how we're going to do it. You have a sense of bringing that first phrase, we remember, into the bones of your body, right down into your body. And when you sing the second phrase, you're bringing it back out to the earth because it's your offering. So it goes like this. Nis Kamawo, Ura Werito. Nis Kamawo, Ura Werito. That's great. So we're going to build that up. And at a certain point, I'm going to invite people on this side of the room to rise up into a harmony with me. But the main thing is that as you do this, you're feeling your own prayer for the land today. What you remember about this deep earth, this ancient, magical, beautiful, painful earth. Nis Kamawo, Ura Werito. Nis Kamawo, Ura Werito. Nis Kamawo, Ura Werito. Keep going. Nis Kamawo, Ura Werito. Nis Kamawo, Ura Werito. Keep going. Nis Kamawo, Ura Werito. Nis Kamawo, Ura Werito. Nis Kamawo, Ura Werito. Nis Last time. So there's always so many pieces to the stories that we carry and share, and it feels so important that we remember whenever we are communicating and meeting and gathering and debating and arguing, that we only carry a piece of the story, and there's always other pieces of the story to listen to. Listening, our theme, of course, today. But what we do all share is a yearning, isn't it? A yearning for something. And that yearning expresses itself in so many different ways for each of us. I'm going to offer another song. This one will be in English and Proto-Celtic. You can sit down while you're singing this one. And we'll start it in English. We are yearning. We are prayer binding. We are pathfinding. We're returning. Niskamao. Nis di Glen Brigo. Nis Wendelego. Nis Wedan Oknu. We are prayer binding. We are pathfinding. We're returning. Nis Kamao. Nis di Glen Brigo. Nis Wendelego. Nis Wedan Oknu. Just this side. We are yearning. We are prayer binding. We are pathfinding. We're returning. We are yearning. We are prayer binding. We are pathfinding. We're returning. We are yearning. We are prayer binding. We are pathfinding. We're returning. Keep going. We are yearning. We are prayer binding. We are pathfinding. We're returning. We are yearning. We are prayer binding. We are pathfinding. We're returning. We are yearning. We are pathfinding. We are pathfinding. We are yearning. We are yearning. We are pathfinding. We are pathfinding. We are yearning. We are yearning. We are pathfinding. together. We yearning, we are prayer binding, we are pathfinding, we're returning. Now in response, Niskamao, Nisdiglen Brigo, Niswendelego, Niswiranoknu. We're returning. We're returning. Thank you. So, the third song to offer you in this braid, before I hand over to your next presenter. It's going to be started with this herringbone whistle. This came from an old heron who just died on our land very naturally. About a year ago, she just came flying by one day, sat by the river, and decided to leave her body there. And I found her by the river, and after a long journey, she became this herringbone whistle. And I'm going to play her when we go into this next chant, which is about how we work together to Yika Mantalo, which is mend the trail. And that, after all, is what we're all trying to do, isn't it? Bring some healing, mending, making whole what we see around us that needs tending, nurturing, being brought awake again. Yika Mantalo. So I'm going to sing this song. I'll do a line, and then you'll do a line. And your line is, the first bit is, I'll go, and you'll go, as we mend the trail, as we mend the trail. And then when I go up to a higher bit in the Proto-Celtic, you'll be going, la 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 la, and you'll go, Yika Mantalo, la 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 la, Yika Mantalo. So this is our prayer for mending together. Everything that we would be weaving with our words today, going into that cloth of Yika Mantalo. We drum our path through the heron's marsh as we mend the trail, as we mend the trail. Our spirits dance through the heron's marsh, you, as we mend the trail, as we mend the trail. Nis kruta sentu kork saweta, Yika Mantalo, and drago kork saweta, Yika Mantalo. You might like to stand for this one because it's a traveling song. You're traveling across the land, through the wild marshes, through the forest, by the sea, wherever you feel most drawn to. This is your walking song as you're calling in the energy of the land. We drum our path through the heron's marsh as we mend mend the trail, as we mend the trail, our spirits dance through the heron's marsh. As we mend the trail, as we mend the trail, Niskruta sentu koksaweta, ikamanta lo, and drago blida koksaweta, ikamanta lo. You can dance if you want. Drum our path through the heron's marsh, as we mend the trail, as we mend the trail, our spirits dance through the heron's marsh, as we mend the trail, as we mend the trail. Niskruta sentu koksaweta, ikamanta lo, and drago blida we drum our path through the heron's marsh, as we mend the trail, as we mend the trail, our spirits dance through the heron's marsh, as we mend the trail, as we mend the trail. Niskruta sentu koksaweta, yikamanta lo, and drago blida koksaweta, yikamanta lo. We drum our path through the heron's marsh, as we mend the trail, as we mend the trail, our spirits dance through the heron's marsh, as we mend the trail, as we mend the trail.
Greetings, everyone. On this beautiful sunny day. Last year, the ancestors said, Sankofa, go back and fetch it. So this past year has been a journey for me. And I literally went to the rivers and to the sea. I went to the Indian Ocean. I went to the Atlantic. I went to the Caribbean. I went up the Amazon. And the mothers of waters and our ancestors have asked me to do this, to bring some seawater, because we need to shed. In traditional West African traditions, this is a month of purification, of shedding, of releasing. And in many other traditions, this is what this past year has been, a release. Because we are carrying so much grief right now. All right, there's so much death, so much that is wrong. And I haven't worked much with my indigenous ancestors, but that is who came through as well. So Atabe from the Taino, the Kalinago, part Kalinago, the sea urchins, the frogs, right? They promise fertility, right? But we need to learn from the sea urchin about our resilience, how to protect ourselves, how to be strong, but still keep our hearts tender and soft. So this is the first time I'm doing this because I'm being guided to do this. So this is seawater collected from the north coast of Trinidad and Tobago, between two islands where the Caribbean and the Atlantic Ocean meet. And I'm going to ask you to stand. Place your hands on your hearts. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. And I am asking you to dig deep and to bring forward anything that needs releasing. And we're going to release it into the water. And then we're going to offer some prayers to all the spirits of all the traditions, to our ancestors, and to our future generations. I honor the four directions above and below. I honor all our ancestors, all those whose shoulders we stand upon. I call Oriyeyo, 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 Oriyeyo. I call on my mother Oshun, mother of fresh waters. I call on Yemoja, mother of the oceans. I call on Atabe. I call on Mami Water. I call on all those spirits and deities whose names I don't know and I can't remember. I call on all the spirits to help us release our grief, release our pain, release it into this seawater. So I'm going to ask you now to send your fears, your grief, your pain forward into this water. Just send your hands through. Send it, send it, send it, send it, send it. Right? Water absorbs everything. Water is our healing. Water is our source. Send it, send it, send it. Could use one hand, both hands, but send it into this water. Release it, right? This new world that is emerging, we can't take all these old systems, all this grief, all this pain. We need to release it. We need to be healing ourselves. We need to heal together. And put your hands back to your hearts. And pray a deep prayer from your deepest knowing, your deepest being, for our future, a future of love, a future of togetherness, a future of reciprocity, a future for our children and our children's children, where there's no war, where there's no violence, where there's no genocide, where there's no hunger. We need to. Our spirits, our mothers are asking us, please, please, please. If you can't come to water, let water come to you. We are water, we are water, right? Pray, please. We need to pray to save our planet, to save ourselves. Right? We do not want World War III started. We cannot allow it to happen. Our mothers are rising, our ancestors are rising. Right? They have our backs. We can do this, we can do this. So now I ask you to send your prayers for our future, for our strength, for our resilience in these times. Send it. Send your prayers. Send your prayers to the water. Ashe, 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 so be it. And I will release this water in 3 weeks back to the same ocean and bring back any messages that our ancestors want me to bring. Thank you.
We can all listen to the land individually, but our ancestors here in Britain have also had to do that collectively because we're communities, we relate to the land as communities. 10,000 years ago, there wasn't much land to relate to, it was mostly under ice. Then there were hunter-gatherers living here, and then with the beginning of agriculture about 6,000 years ago here in Britain, people collectively related to the land and to the heavens through megaliths and through stone circles. And so the great megaliths and stone circles here, like Stonehenge, was started in the late Neolithic age, continued into the Bronze Age, and they were the ways in which people gathered together at festivals relating to the heavens through the sun and the solstices and the cycles of the moon to the earth as a community. They also related through their ancestors, the great burial structures like the long barrows and then later round barrows connected people to the land through their ancestors who were buried there and connected ancestrally to the land. Then Druids related to the land in the western parts of Britain through sacred trees and sacred groves and springs and wells. When the Romans were here, each place had its genius loci, the spirit of the place that was the protector spirit of the place. And the whole of Britain had a protector goddess, Britannia. And she's still there. If you look at your banknotes, on the right-hand side, under there's this little bit here, she's a bit reduced in size, but she's still there, Britannia, the protector goddess of Britain. Then, as Britain was Christianized, from the 6th, 7th century onwards, many churches were built in sacred groves. In Wales, for example, churches are often in circular graveyards, which were circles of yew trees. And many English graveyards still have ancient yew trees in them. In some cases, the trees are 1,000 years older than the church, and the church itself is 1,000 years old. So these connecting us back to these sacred trees. Then when the churches were built, starting around the 6th or 7th century with Saxon structures and later with Norman and medieval churches, like holy places all over the world, they had vertical structures like megaliths, obelisks, towers, spires. So the churches have towers and spires that connect the heavens and the earth. They literally connect because when lightning strikes, it hits the highest point, which is usually the tower or the spire. That's why they have lightning conductors. And so the energy of the heavens literally goes into the earth there. And when it reaches the earth at the bottom of the lightning conductor, it doesn't just stop. It spreads out from there in all directions underground, these huge million-volt electric currents. So these are our sacred places, and every English village has a church in it, usually with a tower or spire, surrounded by the graves of the ancestors. So we still have this tradition of collective connection with the land, with the sacred places. Now, in modern times, modern people have been educated to think all this is absolute nonsense and it's just superstition. We've risen above it through science and rational understanding. We don't need to do these things anymore. But the fact is that we feel much better when we are connected. There's now a lot of scientific evidence that people who have regular religious and spiritual practices, including collective practices, they feel much more connected to the place and to the community. And people who have that greater sense of connection are usually happier, healthier, and live longer. That's why I often say that atheism, militant atheism, should come with a health warning, because if you disconnect, then you're unhappier, unhealthier, and live shorter. So now there's a process of reconnection going on, which we're all part of. This gathering is all about that. And last year, at the first Listening to the Land and at the Real Farming Conference, there was a lot of discussion about this reconnection. Some of it had practical effects. There was a session in this very church, led by Patrick Holden, where we were discussing this reconnection. One way in which this happens is through patronal festivals. Every parish church has a protector saint, St. Mary Magdalene, St. John the Baptist, or whatever. They each have a protector. And that is the genius loci, the spirit of the place, the Christianized version of it. And it's the job of that saint to look after the parish, to protect it, protect the land, the people, the animals, and the plants within it. And traditionally, all over Europe, on the feast day of the patron saint, there would be a festival. The whole community would join in, processions, celebrations. In Italy and in Spain, these are huge things. The whole community is engaged in these things. Well, there's been a big revival of patronal festivals here in Britain. In 2024, there were 2 based on evening services, singing, choirs singing in the evening with receptions. In 2025, there were 80. And the patronal festival of the year has just been announced. It was St. Nicholas Kittisford, the smallest village in Somerset, where for their patronal festival they had a choir of students from Wales. They trained up a community choir of volunteers, 25 of them. They had the local parish school choir, the primary school choir, that sang the psalm in the evening, sung evening service. The church was absolutely packed. The bells were ringing beforehand. It was a huge success. These patronal festivals have reconnected people. And the Choral Evensong Trust is offering grants again this year for a further revival of these festivals. If any of you are interested, go to the website choralevensong.org and you can find out how to apply for one of these grants. Also, in this very church last year, we discussed the old tradition of rogation pilgrimages, asking for blessings on the land, round parishes, from the holy places of the parish, connecting holy wells, ancient trees, the church, the churchyard, and praying for blessings on the crops, the field, the land, the trees, the gardens, the animals, and the people and the footpaths in the parish. And partly as a result of that discussion here last year, the British Pilgrimage Trust, under Dr. Guy Hayward, who's with us here today, offered grants for the revival of rogation processions round villages. There were 20 of them last year, reviving this tradition. Some walked around the boundaries of the parish, beating the bounds. Some went on processions within the parish to the holy places. These involved children, grown-ups. It was a whole community event relating the community to the land. Again, they were a tremendous success. A real sense of restoring community and connection with the land. So I think all these things are very possible. They're actually happening. And I think we can recognize that through pilgrimage, through celebration of local festivals, we can bring the whole community together. So as well as our own individual appreciation of birds, trees, rivers, waters, holy places, the seasons, the skies, and all those other things which I'm sure we all personally connect with, connecting together as a community is a really important thing, and it's coming back to life as we rediscover these traditions. So I very much hope that today will be another part in that process, which I think will be healing for all of us individually and collectively, and for the land. I also think that the reactivating the patron saints is a good thing to do, because it's their job to look after us. They're the local protectors. In most cultures, there are protector spirits, spirits of the place, whereas the patron saints are grossly underemployed at the moment. They haven't had many people asking for their help for a long time. But I think they'd be only too pleased to be asked. And I think if we can reawaken those protector spirits, we'll have them on our side and helping us in this process. Thank you.
Yeah, it's greetings. My relatives and my people. I'm from the Nanisht Ejitrachitni clan of the Dene Nation. We are also incorrectly known as Navajo, but we call ourselves Dene, which simply means the people. And that clan I get from my mother, as we are a matrilineal culture. So we get our last names from our mothers, not from our fathers. We do keep track of our other 4 clans, however, which in my case are Ashihe, Salt Clan, Tsitsesis, Southern Cheyenne, and Bilagana, which in Dene means the white people clan. That's a joke. But more specifically, Scottish. So that's my father's line, the Johnstons. So I'm a mixture of many things, and I'm happy to be here and happy to be close to some of my ancestral homelands as well on my other side. And speaking of my mother line, just because she probably knows so many of you, I should tell you my mom's Pat McCabe, which maybe some of you guys know, Woman Shining. So I know she's been around these parts quite a bit. Anyways, it's really good to see you all, and I'm so happy to be here. I just wanted to briefly say a few things before I sing a little song. And the things I wanted to say was that, you know, there's so many words for the Creator. There's so many words to name that creative force. And they're all correct. And that they're all really important parts of the tapestry of human heart and mind. And there are many different ways to listen to the land. Many, many, many. And many different lands to listen to. And they are all correct. And we are all indigenous to somewhere. Or somewheres, in my case, and most of your cases. But we are not all indigenous to where we stand. Sometimes we are, sometimes we're not, depending on where we are. And that's an important distinction to make, that we must follow the local indigenous peoples whose songs are the sound of the land singing, and whose language is the sound of that specific ecosystem speaking. And so I deeply honor my relatives who carry on some of the Brythonic traditions, and who are carrying on the Gaelic languages, Cymru, aka Welsh, Celtic languages, because those are the indigenous peoples of this land. And I did a lot of research for my PhD looking at different food systems around the world, indigenous food systems. But I also did a little bit of research into the different ways indigenous peoples have been denigrated. And what I found interesting was that the Norman, Roman, English sort of melange of empire here, they called Irish people savages 1,000 years before Columbus called my people savages. And they called the Scottish people barbarians 1,000 years before they called my people that. And they called the Welsh people primitive 1,000 years before Columbus called my people primitive. And so it's the same playbook again and again to delegitimize and denigrate the local indigenous peoples to generate a false license to seize land and labor. And so I just deeply honor the indigenous spirit of this land we're on right now. And so cool, you know. My friend Justin Adams was telling me about eel farms that were once near here that were massive, you know. And the oak groves that once covered all of what we now call Britain, tended by the ancestors, just blows my mind. So I want us to tap into that during these next few days. And that part of listening to the land here is listening to the indigenous peoples of this place. I could say a lot more, but I will spare you. You'll have to come to my talk, I guess. I'm just going to sing a song. This song is called All Nations Rise, and I thought it was appropriate because there's so many nations gathering here today, and it's time for all of us to rise up and honor our ancestors and tap into that root of sustainable food production, as it were, and to remember that our ancestors were not hunter-gatherers, but they were actually expert gardeners of the earth. And they were really good at designing ecosystems and cultivating whole food systems from the land that not only fed the people abundantly as the eel did here, but was regenerative for the land itself as well, in a win-win-win kind of situation of abundance and reciprocity. And each of us have connections to those ancestors who are usually falsely labeled hunter-gatherers, but were actually cultivators of the natural food-bearing capacity of the land. So, indigenous people, shine your light, we are equal, yeah, yeah. I remember the days when our prayers were illegal. I remember the days when being Indian was lethal, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we had a rough past, but get ready for the sequel. Get ready for the glorious comeback of our people, yeah. Rise up, all you warriors of love, all you answers to the prayers of our ancestors from above. I could feel it in my heart, can you feel it in your blood? I could hear the seventh fire calling us to wake up. All nations rise, rise up, 'cause now's your time. We don't have to hide anymore, 'cause now's our time. With forgiveness as my bow and my prayers as my arrows, pull it back and let it go and watch them fly like sparrows. Have hope, have hope. With compassion as our shield and faith down to our marrow, we will walk the pollen path even when it gets narrow. Yeah, yeah. Resurrect. Yes, you can bet that we seen the single mama raising children on the res. We seen domestic violence tear apart what we have left. We seen the alcohol take it all and leave us dead. We've seen our children take their own lives when they can't take the dread anymore. No, we can't take the dread anymore. Or no, we won't take the dread anymore. 'Cause I can't take the dread anymore. Yes, it's a war, but we seen it all before, and now we know we can change it, 'cause that's why we were born. We know we are the ones that we have been waiting for. Yes, we are the ones that Grandma has been praying for. So rise up, all you warriors of love, all you answers to the prayers of our ancestors from above. I could feel it in my heart. Can you feel it in your blood? I could hear the seventh fire calling us to wake up. Pueblo hermoso, levántanse, es nuestro tiempo. No tienes que esconderte más, porque ahorita es nuestro tiempo. This next verse is in Spanish because where I'm from in what's now called the United States, we have a lot of indigenous relatives who live south of this imaginary border. So I always sing this in Spanish to honor our connection. Mujer indígena, tú eres tan sagrada y traes medicina de tu suelo todavía, a pesar del abuso de tu cuerpo y tu tierra. Respetamos tus ancestros y la suya cultura, hombre indígena. Tú eres honorable y yo veo la fuerza que todavía sobrevive a pesar del abuso de tu raza venerable. Yo respeto tus ritos, tus danzas, tus padres, guerreros del amor y guerreros de la paz. Sí, no vamos a escondernos más. We are warriors of love, we are warriors of peace, and we will not hide ourselves anymore. All nations rise, rise up, 'cause now's your time. We don't have to hide anymore, 'cause now's our time. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks to the ancestors, and thank each of you for letting me spend a little bit of time with you. And also thanks Creator for keeping me humble and choking on the very last line. Have a good day, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alice Cunningham. I'm with Shumei International. Shumei is an international organization dedicated to fostering a deep respect for nature, appreciation of beauty, and bringing spiritual value to the fore. We practice natural agriculture, a farming approach in harmony with nature. Natural agriculture recognizes the inherent power of the soil, so we do not put anything, no input, no additives. We just focus on helping rejuvenate the land. We believe natural agriculture is a spiritual practice. And for us, Shumei Taiko performers, who actually are farmers too, they believe the Taiko drumming is a spiritual practice as well. Traditionally, Taiko was offered as a call to the spirit of nature and is often connected to the seasons and based on the natural elements. The powerful sounds of taiko drums connects us to nature and unite us by reflecting to the harmony that exists between all living beings and Mother Earth. Please listen to the call to the spirit of nature and hear the heartbeat of the earth. And now, here's Shumei Taiko.